morning everybody. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying the beautiful sunshine over the past few days. It's definitely cheered up, hasn't it? So I hope you're making the most of your exercise and being outdoor, getting some lovely fresh air. We were at the end of chapter 14 yesterday, where Melinda raised her fists in the air and charged towards Bradley. And Bradley ran home crying. So we're at chapter 15. I'm going to do chapter 15 and 16 today because, like always, they're quite short, and we'll see what has happened after this big fight. So, chapter 15. "My poor baby," said Bradley's mother as she wrapped her massive arms around him. He stopped crying shortly after he ran away from Melinda, but started again when he saw his mother. "They beat me up and threw me in the mud," he sobbed. His mother wiped his face with a tissue she kept rolled up in her shirt sleeve. "Come on," she said, and led him by a hand down the hall to the bathroom. "You'll take a nice warm bath, put on clean clothes, and you'll feel good as new." Claudia was in the bathroom, combing her hair. What happened to him? Some bullies picked on him after school. "There were 4 of them," said Bradley, "and they ripped up my homework too." "You've been crying," Claudia accused. "That's the rain," said Bradley. Claudia started to say something, but her mother told her to leave the bathroom. She laid out clean clothes on the bathroom counter, then started the water. After his bath, Bradley went into his bedroom. It was just in the nick of time. Ronnie the rabbit was romping across the bed, singing doo-dee-doo-dee-doo, when suddenly she was lost. "Where am I?" she asked. Suddenly, 3 bad guys were chasing her. They were the 2 of spades, the 9 of hearts, and the King of diamonds. The King of diamonds was the leader of the bad guys. "After her!" he yelled. "Help!" called Ronnie. She ran to the edge of the bed. The cliff! She was trapped! The floor was 1,000 feet below. The bad guys moved in for the kill. "Let me go!" she shouted, then fell off the bed onto the floor, but that was an accident. Bradley picked her up and put her back on the edge of the bed. It never happened. There was time out. "What are you going to do to me?" asked Ronnie, trembling from the edge of the cliff. "We're going to kill you," said the King of Diamonds. "Oh, no, you're not," said the voice from behind. It was Bartholomew. "Get him, boys," ordered the King of Diamonds. The cards attacked. Bartholomew punched the 2 of spades in the stomach, then flipped him over his head and over the cliff. "Ah!" The 2 of spades yelled as he fell 1,000 feet to his death. Next, Bartholomew beat up the 9 of hearts. "Go join your friend," he said as he threw him over the cliff too. "Ah!" cried the 9. Now only the King of Diamonds was left. He came at Bartholomew, swinging an axe. "I'll chop off your head," he sneered. Bartholomew ducked, then kicked the axe out of the King's hand and punched his face in. He threw the King over the cliff too. Ronnie ran to Bartholomew. "You saved my life," he said. "I know," said Bartholomew. They kissed. Claudia walked into the room. "Mum's making cookies because you got beat up," she said. "Oh, you're going to have a black eye." "I didn't get beat up," Bradley declared. "I beat them up. I gave one kid 2 black eyes and another boy 3. "You can't give somebody 3 black eyes," said Claudia. "Shut up," said Bradley, "or I'll give you 4 black eyes." Claudia shrugged and left his room. Bradley got up from his bed and went into the kitchen, where his mother was making chocolate chip cookies. She let him lick the spoon. "I want to know the names of the boys who did this to you," she said. "I'm going to call your school principal." Bradley thought for a moment. "I don't know all their names," he said. "Don't be afraid to tell me," said his mother. "They won't hurt you any more." Bradley thought a moment. "Jeff Fishkin," he declared. "He was the leader of the gang." "I'll call the school first thing in the morning," said his mother. "Good," said Bradley. "I hope he gets in trouble. I hate him." Dear. So actually, Jeff did nothing, and Bradley's now saying and accusing him of being the ones that beat him up. Right, chapter 16, page 62. Bradley walked slowly, holding his hand over his eye so nobody would see it. His mother would have let him stay home from school, but his father said he had to go. "He's scared," his mother had said. "Some bullies have been terrorising him." "Babying him will not solve the problem," said his father. "He has to learn to stand up for himself and to fight back. The only reason the bullies pick on him is because they know he's afraid." Bradley was afraid, but not of the bullies. I've lost myself. Where am I? He wasn't scared of Melinda either. It was little Laurie Weston who scared him. He could picture her standing in the middle of the playground with her big mouth shouting for the whole school to hear. Melinda Birch beat up Bradley Chalkers and made him cry. Cautiously, he walked across the schoolyard, hand over eye, and entered Mrs. Ebble's class. He sat down in the last seat of the last row. Jeff's chair was empty. Good, he thought, still covering his eye. He probably got kicked out of school. Out of his uncovered eye, he looked at the chart full of gold stars on the wall next to him. He was glad he didn't have any. He thought gold stars were ugly. Mrs. Ebble was in the middle of teaching the difference between adjectives and adverbs when she suddenly stopped and asked, Bradley, is there something the matter with your eye? No. Then please take your hand away from it. I can't, he said. Why can't you? He quickly tried to think of a reason why he had to keep his eye covered. His mind raced through hundreds of ideas. My hand's stuck, he said. It's stuck, said Mrs. Ebble. I was gluing something and got glue on my hand, then I accidentally touched my face with my hand and it got stuck. Bradley, take your hand away from your eye. He grabbed his wrist with his free hand and pretended to try and pull it away. I can't, it's stuck. Do you want to go to the principal's office? She asked. He's good at unsticking things. Wait, I think it's starting to loosen now, he said. He pried his hand away. There was a bluish black circle around his eye. For a few seconds, nobody said anything. Then everybody started talking at once. What happened? Asked Mrs. Ebble, but then quickly said, Never mind, I don't want to know. She told the class to turn around and started again on adverbs and adjectives. Jeff walked in late. He said something to Mrs. Ebble and then sat down next to Bradley. Bradley looked the other way, at the chart full of gold stars. Of all the stars, Jeff's were the ugliest. For once, he wished he sat in the front of the room, then only Mrs. Ebble would have been able to see his face. Where he was, everyone could turn around and stare at him. All morning, Mrs. Ebble had to keep telling kids to turn around and face the front. When the bell rang for recess, he put his hand over his eye and hurried outside. He went to the far end of the playground where nobody would bother him. But the word quickly spread that Bradley Chalkers had a black eye, and kids kept wandering past him, trying to get a peek. Melinda fights dirty, said Jeff, coming up behind him. She hit you when you weren't looking, and you couldn't hit her because it's impolite to hit a girl. Right, said Bradley, turning around. I would have punched her face in, except it's impolite. Melinda probably told the whole school that she beat me up. She's so stupid. No, I don't think she told anybody. After you left, she asked me not to tell anyone what had happened. She made Laurie and Colleen promise not to tell too. She's probably afraid I'll punch her face in, said Bradley. Probably, said Jeff. Then, this morning, I was called into the principal's office. He thought I was the one that hit you. What did you tell him? Bradley asked. Jeff shrugged. I told him you're my best friend. The principal was stupid, Bradley agreed. There's still a lot going on with Bradley's morals, isn't there? He can't really tell the difference between things that are the right thing to do and things that are the wrong thing to do, maybe. Still going and telling porcupines, but we'll have to wait and see for tomorrow. That leads us up to chapter 17. So we're getting on quite nicely, actually. So yes, hopefully you can spend some time in the outdoors today. I've been having a few ideas, haven't I, the past few days of little ideas to give you, but I haven't thought of one this morning. I know I mentioned before putting rainbows and Easter eggs, doing a little virtual Easter egg hunt with some of your neighbours. That might be a nice idea if you haven't done that already. You could maybe make some Easter cards for the weekend. I quite like the ones that instead of saying Happy Easter on the front, they say Hoppy Easter with a bunny or something. They're quite cute. Sorry, I haven't prepared anything today at all. I just thought I'd come on and read and yeah. Right, I'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe. Put your sun cream on if you're going out in the sun, of course, and get some nice vitamin D on your skin, and you'll be feeling better once you've had some sunshine. See you later. Bye.